Good morning, all. I'm continuing with the tutorial game of Parallax football. So, for those who tuned in yesterday, 18-minute video, Calgary and Chicago after the first quarter, using 4 possessions. It is a 0-0 tie. Calgary, at the end of the first quarter, missed a 56-yard field goal. Chicago takes over on their own 46. So this is the Parallax Football PDF. Yesterday when I recorded it, I thought I was recording the entire, so I could do the tutorial. It only recorded my notepad. So this morning I was able to set it up to see the book as well as the notepad. So you'll be able to follow along a little bit. You won't be able to see my dice rolls though. All right, so Chicago has the ball. This, by the way, coinciding with this tutorial video is a link in the box below to get the ebook version of this. The paperback was published yesterday. The ebook this morning was tightened up and published. So you can snatch this in PDF, right? Okay, for those of you who don't want to try to print and ship, especially for my non-American friends who, you're talking about major delays in shipping or even, taxes, etc. So long story short, never fear, the ebook version is now up as of this morning. All right, so there's a couple things too I failed to mention in the last video. The game is, like all of my games, are designed for full play, but use possessions for timing. However, also to make it very clear, you can use whatever number of possessions you want. And also, I do state plainly that if you want accurate statistical outcomes, you need to use 120 play games. So that would be 30 plays from scrimmage per quarter. And as you can see, using possessions, 4 possessions, I only had 16 plays from scrimmage in the first quarter between both teams. So on average, both teams had 8 plays. So obviously, you're going to have a lower scoring game. And of course, if you were tracking statistics that you wanted to compare to, let's say, real pro football, they're going to be off by quite a bit. That's not to say that would happen in every game. There will be many games where you would end up with plenty of plays in a quarter, depending on how well they drive. So just to make that clear, I recommend for just quick, again, possessions are entirely up to you. You could use 18 to 24, whatever. But if you want to track stats and you want more realistic results for stat outcomes, etc., then I recommend traditional NFL 30 plays in a quarter. This is only plays from scrimmage, meaning runs and passes, not punts, field goals, etc. Okay, long story. So I thought I better clarify that, because there will be people going, holy cow, that was not enough football. Right, well, we are playing possessions, so you're going to truncate the games. That's why I choose possessions for speed of play. All right, here we go. So first thing you're going to do is roll your 2 different color offense-defense die for the play call. Chicago is a run-heavy team, but they are passing. So I rolled a 5 and a 3, so it's going to be a pass. And the 3, in a normal situation for the defense, where's my defensive charts? Oh, shoot. Come here. Normal situation. So right here, normal situation. Again, you can create your own. Is more as intricate as you want. You could actually define these defensive play calls based on down and distance, right? I just do short yardage, normal, etc. 3 is balanced. So they're going to be balanced. And balanced is good because it's going to at least subtract yardage from either type of play, which is it's a safe defense that does affect yardage. All right, so Chicago's passing. We're going to roll again. Remember, I'm rolling D66 now, and it's going to be a 53. Chicago passes with C effectiveness against their linebackers. So 5-3. We're looking at 5 all the way over to 3 is complete. You can see this big completion. So it is a completed pass, so it's going to be pass. And that completion for them, though, is on the completion chart. So we come down here for completion, D. And this isn't great. We'd love a 66 here. No, it's going to be a 25. It's going to be complete for 6 yards. Now, remember, so 5 yards minus 2 for the base defense. It's a 3-yard pass. Chicago. So they dump it down to, and again, you can roll a 3rd die to find out who it is that caught the pass. However, I'm going to assume when it's short like that, I assume it's halfbacks, fullbacks, check down pass. at the 49, at their own 49. Chicago trying to get into enemy territory. All right, we're doing the play call roll. It's going to be pass versus balance, exactly the same. Pass versus balance. It worked once for Chicago. Chicago, no, on this one is 52. That's going to be complete. And how do I know? Because I know 50. Let's go up here to see. 52 is completed, barely, right there. You can see completion, right? And let's go ahead and roll for this round. So back-to-back completions. This one, 15, not going to be great for 3 yards, -2. Wow, pass for 3, -2 is a 1-yard strike. So he's completed 2 balls in check downs to tight ends, or maybe quick button hooks or screen bubble screens. Who knows? 3rd and 6 at their own. Let's see, we've got 1 yard at the 50. Holy cow. Chicago, here we go. We're going to go. This would be a passing situation, so I could just call pass, but I'm going to just add 1 to my D6 for my play call. And again, for them, it would be long yardage. So the defense, let's go up here to the play calls. There we go. So I'm adding 1. So I rolled a 3, plus 1 is 4. We're going to run the ball team. We're going to run. So they're going to draw play versus pass. So it's going to be a run versus pass on the long yardage right here, long yardage. So we're calling a draw play is Chicago. Fascinating. Chicago runs with a, again, let's go up here to Chicago so you can see Chicago's run is a C. Let's go down here to the C chart. Chicago's run. So again, this one is just point of attack play. So you do have to complete a pass against the position of the linebackers. And then we, against coverage, find out how long passes go for, right? When you run the ball, all you're doing is finding out what you get at the point of attack, right? So we're the offensive line / run stoppers, running backs are, equated in that too. All right, so I need to roll. We need 6, so we really need to roll high to get enough here. And they're in a pass, so we're going to get +2 to this yardage. 31, not going to be very good. 31 is 0, but they do give up +2, so it's going to be a run. Run for 0 with a +2 defense gives us 2, and it's going to be Chicago 4th and 4 at the defense's 48. Chicago, go for it. No, we know that our punt is 40. It's going to pin them at the 8. And again, this is old school football. We're trying to win. We're trying to win field position. So it's going to be Calgary, 1st and 10 at their own 8-yard line. So any mistakes by Calgary and Chicago here at home will take an early lead. All right, here we go. There are chances to return. If you have a return man with an A, he can attempt to return it for a touchdown. That's the only people in the game that can return punts and kicks for touchdowns. So it's a straight net punt of 40, pinning them at the 8. So a beautiful coffin corner punt. Calgary has the exact same chances here. They're going to run versus run. So now it's going to get ugly. Run versus run. Chicago's running on C. Calgary's running on C, 54. 54 is going to be a run for 5. So we're going to run for 5 minus, for the run defense, -2. It's going to be a 3-yard run. Calgary, 2nd and 7. Own 11. So the defense was ready. All right, Calgary. It's going to be pass versus pass. You got to be kidding me. Pass versus pass. They can't shake the defenses. These teams are playing great. Oh, 16 is going to be incomplete, but it could be worse. So let's go up here to the passing play. 16, 1 and 6 is incomplete. So pass, incomplete. Calgary struggling. 3rd and 7. Chicago's got them right where they want them at their own 11. 3rd and 7 at their own 11. This is exactly what they want. And it's going to be a +1 to each or to my offensive die to try to pass it. And no, it's going to be a run versus pass. So they're going to call a simple dive play just to get out of this dangerous situation. And they're going to roll a 41 on the run column, which is C. So we're running C. And I rolled a 41. 41 is 1. Dang. Run. 1 + 2 for the pass play It's a 3-yard run. It'll be Calgary, 4th and 4 at their own 14-yard line. Ran for 1, +2 for the defense, 3 yards. Yep, there it is. Calgary's going to punt. It's going to punt a 40. We already know that in the matchups, pregame matchups against each other. Chicago, this game is a defensive battle, 1st and 10 at their own 46. So again, they're stuck at midfield. Chicago needs to get going here. It's going to be a pass versus balanced. Chicago drops back. It's going to be complete. Pass complete for... Oh, not good. Jeez. So he keeps dumping it down. Pass completion on D. 12. Drop. Damn, it's dropped. Oh, drop. Or I should say incomplete. Dropped. So the receiver, if you were tracking stats, you would track that of course, was a dropped pass. Damn, 0-46. Okay, 2nd down. Chicago's struggling. It's going to be 41. It's going to be a run versus run. So this is not good for them. Run versus run. C chart is 21. C chart of 21 is going to be a run for nothing. Man, run 0 -2 for a -2 run. And it's a hit for loss. 3rd and 12. Own 44. And we got to go pass. This will be straight up long yardage. So it's pass. Defense will be pass. So we just go pass. There's no reason to roll here. 62 is complete. So it's going to be a pass complete. Okay, they need to roll high on this completion. So we go up to completion D. I need to roll a 66. If not, it's going to be short by 2 yards. 22. Nope, it's going to be 22 is 2 yards. Oh my God. He dumps it down. Check down pass versus a pass defense. It's complete for 0. Chicago, 4th and 12 on their own 44. Punt 40. It's all defense, baby. Calgary, 1st and 10. Let's see here. That would be... at the 16. So they're winning the field position battle, but the game is a defensive dogfight, mired in short yardage. They are completing passes. Chicago's quarterback is completing passes, but it's typical pro football. All of them are dink passes that are now being swallowed up by a really solid Calgary defense. All right, Calgary goes to work. This is the 3rd possession. No, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th possession already. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4th possession of the 2nd quarter. 52 is going to be a pass versus run. They got him in the right defense, finally. It's recording still, right? Got him in the right defense. I had to make sure it doesn't pause my damn... All right, here we go. Got him in the right defense. And it's going to be 31 is going to be incomplete, though. Damn it. Passing on C. 31. Sack. Down he goes. And we roll 2d6. Oh, 2-yard loss. So he scrambles. It's going to be counted as a sack. So it's a sack for a loss of 2. Calgary going the wrong way. 2nd and 12 at their own 14. Not good, folks. Calgary snaps the ball. It's going to be 46. It's going to be run versus pass. They got him in the wrong defense. They got him thinking wrong. But Calgary's got to produce 65. There we go. Finally, a 1st down play. Running play 65 is going to be, no, it's not a 1st down. 65 is a 6-yard run. Run for 6 plus 2. Whoops. Run for 6 plus 2. Is going to be an 8-yard play. Calgary finally, quarterback or somebody runs. And that's still going to be 3rd and 4 at their own 22. Calgary just trying to survive, get out of their own territory. It's going to be pass versus pass. It's going to be, 36 might be complete. Let's go up to the passing chart. 36 should be complete. Oh, that's completion. We want a passing play. 36 is complete. Hallelujah. They're going to pass complete. Now they need that big catch. Pass completion. They're looking at D. 63. Good job. 63 is a 10-yard strike. 10 minus 2 is an 8-yard pass. Calgary will get the first down. 1st and 10 at their own 30. Good job, Calgary. All right, so Calgary's moving. Folks, they lost 2. They had to do it the hard way. They started off with a sack, and they are getting somewhere, though. Here we go. Calgary from their own 30. It's going to be a run versus balanced. Run versus balanced. And it's going to be 46 on the run charts. C run charts. 46, 7-yard run minus 1. Run for 7 minus 1 is a 6-yard carry. Calgary starting to warm up. 2nd and 4 at their own 36. They were at the 22 and had an 8-yard completion. Okay, good. Calgary looking good. It's going to be run versus pass. They got him in the wrong D against Calgary, starting to get some wiggle room here. Run versus pass, 45. 45 is a run for 4 plus 2. So let's see here. Run for 4 plus 2. Oops, 6-yard run. Calgary, 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. Man, they're moving, folks. They started way down in their end, but they're starting to climb out of the hole. Here we go. Calgary's going to be run versus pass. They got them. They're setting them up to look like they might be passing, and they're handing it off. 64, big carry. 64 is another 6-yard run. Run for 6, wrong defense plus 2. It's an 8-yard pound. Calgary now, 2nd and 2 at the 50-yard line. Calgary's finally climbed out to midfield, looking good on this drive. Calgary's going to be run versus balanced. And it's going to be 61. Calgary pounding the rock for 2. So run for 2 minus 1 for balanced is a 1-yard run. Calgary 3rd and 1. Unbelievable short yardage, man. Run versus balanced. For run, it's going to be, the defense is 49. Can Calgary get going? Let's see. 34 is going to be run in short yardage versus balanced. You got to be kidding me. So they're playing smart defense, just taking away 1. They're hoping Calgary fails to win at the point of attack. And 14, I think they are going to fail. 14 is 1. Oh, run for 1. They hit each other in the hole. And there's no gain. There's no gain. Calgary, 4th and 1 at the defense's 49. I think we punt it, pins them at the 9. We're going for it. Calgary at midfield. There's 1 drive left in the game. They're going to go for it. 1 drive left in the half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. They got 1 more drive. Calgary's going to go for it. They're not going to punt it away here. Calgary's going to run versus pass. They got them in a look, make them think short yardage. I rolled a 6 for defense. That is a pass defense. They got them where they want to miss the first down. If they don't mess it up, 52 is going to be a run for 3. 3 plus 2. 5-yard first down. The fans in Chicago beside themselves. How the hell did we let that happen? Calgary marching. First down. It's going to be run versus run. Ooh. Defense showed up on this one, and it's going to be 35. 35 is a run for 1. Run for 1 minus 2 is a -1 run. Dang. Calgary, too many runs there. Remember, these are run-first teams, so they should be running more. D45. They lose a yard. 2nd down and 11. Calgary's going to run versus run. Oh, man. They're going with their strength now. They've crossed the 50. And they need a big one. 34. 34 is going to be a run for 3. -2. Run for 3 minus 2 is 1 yard. Calgary, stop it. 3rd and 11 at the defense's 45. 34. Got to pass. It's going to be pass versus pass. There's no question here. Pass v. pass. And we roll to see if we can complete it. 45, I believe, is going to be complete on the C chart. 45. Passing play. 45 is complete. So we got a completion. Now they got to do something with it. Pass completion. We need to roll high. Nope. 11. Fumble. So it's completed and pop. So it's going to be fumble -2, so -2 line of scrimmage, and the ball's turned over. Chicago with the takeaway. The crowd erupts at Chicago. Remember, fumbles in this are automatically lost. We're not going to be rolling. They're going to be ultimately rare enough that they're, fumble -2. So it's going to be at the defense's own 46. Chicago with the final drive. Can you believe it? Calgary has a dramatic drive from their own 16, and they decide dramatically here late in the quarter to go for it. They convert, and then they have -1-1 and a fumble. Chicago tightens up. Final drive of the second quarter in Parallax football. It's going to be a run versus pass. Chicago is going to start grinding it. And again, they're looking at the C charts. 54. What's that? 54 on the C chart. 54 is 5 yards. So run for 5 +2. 7-yard run. Chicago lays the lumber, pounds out the rock into the defensive territory. The 47. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. 47. There it is. Chicago on second down. It's going to be pass versus balanced. They caught him. However, balance takes away at least some yardage. The pass is, sack. No, tell me they did not get sacked. Pass play C. I rolled a 12. Almost picked off. Sack. Dang. For a loss of 6. Sack -6. Chicago, what are you doing? 3rd and 9. Dang it, at their own 46? No, their own 47. I think, yeah, that's it. Wow, unbelievable. Here we go, Chicago. They got to be pass. So it's pass versus pass. Again, we don't have to roll when it's obvious situations. And it's the final drive of the quarter, so it's going to be 51. That's complete. We know that. Actually, I better check that. 51. Nope, incomplete. You got to be kidding me. Incomplete. So he takes a shot. 51 is incomplete. Dang it. Incomplete. Chicago, the final drive here. 4th and 9 at their own 47. There are no more possessions. If they get it, they get to keep playing. If they don't, that's the end. So we're gonna go for it. This will be a go for it play, pass versus pass. And here we go. Can they keep the drive alive? 32. They do not. It's going to be incomplete. So the defense is ready and bats that ball away. And that's going to wrap up the second quarter. And folks, we are in an absolute ugly arse dogfight. 0-0. Unbelievable. Remember, I said these two teams turned out to be rated exactly the same. And they ended up they have the same type of coach. And we're in a 0-0 dogfight. So really, the first team to have an explosive play, or the first team to produce a big turnover. Calgary screwed the pooch into the first quarter with a missed field goal. And then Calgary screwed the pooch again late in the second with a fumble lost at the 44 of Chicago. And then Chicago has not been able to muster much of an attack. Chicago, most of the second quarter, had the ball in a good territory, keeping Calgary pinned. But then Calgary launched a really nice drive of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 play drive when they fumbled the ball away to get it out of their territory. But Chicago is inept, cannot produce anything. And we're in a 0-0 dogfight. So here's an example again of, I'm using possessions, but if you used plays, this quarter would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we had 25 plays in this quarter. That's much closer to real football. Again, real football, you should be looking at between 29 and 33 plays for a quarter. So if you were playing if you were playing what I recommend for complete statistical games, there would still be 5 plays left in this. Not to mention you could call timeouts, which would add a play to, you could have a total of 8 plays remaining. So we could have 8 more plays. In that case, I would have, because I knew I had plays left, I probably would have punted this. And then given they would have had 8, Calgary would have had 8 plays to do something, right? Or vice versa. Or go for it, and then I have 7 plays left to get something. But again, when you use possessions, you're going to get faster games that are truncated. You'll still get decent scores, or maybe a little light in the scoring, but not. The scoring doesn't change much based on possessions. What changes is going to be production for yardage if you're keeping track of stats. And again, if you play consistently the same way every game, you can still track stats. It's just you're not going to get NFL, total NFL stats. But you could still play possessions, track your stats, and it's all relative to every game you play in your league. So that would just start to show that, in this league, a back that gets 100 yards is huge. Or in this league, a quarterback that throws, a touchdown and a half a game would be a big, whatever the averages come out to for your league. So you could do 20 possession games, 25 possession games. You could do 16 possession games. This, though, is designed to be closer to down by down football. So again, if you have a particular timer you like, or you want to tick time like in Appball Football or Status Pro, or use a timing chart like Stratomatic or Play Action Football, you can, and you'll get again more realistic statistical results. What you will find in my Parallax Football is yards per completion are going to be in such a way that they're going to resemble closer to modern football, lower yards per attempt. However, if you hit those big breakaways, you've got a chance to get big numbers passing. Rushing the same way. Good rushing teams have breakaway chances. However, D and F, they're going to get best they can do is a 10-yard run. So teams that run at D and F, these are really not running teams. These would be teams that would run sparingly, right? So, and then we had interception return charts. So again, I haven't showed off the rules yet, have I? The ebook's available for, I think, $4. Quick write-up of what Parallax is. Talks about how you do running plays, how you do passing plays, special teams. And then we talk about teams, how the attributes are weighed and what their value is. Then we talk about how you create teams and what that means. And then an example of naming players if you want to. And then, of course, we are not teaching football, so you need to know something about the sport of football that you're playing. But I give an example of what our base rules would be for this league. And then, of course, I recommend you use a game log, such as the one I'm using here, or you can use a football field and a tracker and time the game with 120 plays per game. The kickoff table is very simple. Place kicker's rating is here. So let's say I have a place kicker who's a C, and I'm kicking to a return man who's a D, which is how we ended up with both teams having 23. And we will take every kickoff out to the 23. The only player that can even have a chance to return a touchdown is an A-rated return man. So if my place kicker is a C, my A-rated return man is a 31. Every time there's a kickoff, I roll to see if he takes it back to the house or fumbles the ball. Onside kicks are very simple right here. And this is just a reminder of what that asterisk means, that they can return any kickoff for a touchdown. Punt table, same way. We're looking at net yardage, though. So my punter's a C. I'm punting to a return man who's a D. A return man who's a D. Yes, so 44. The net would be 44 the whole game. That's a big deal, right? So bad return man really kills you in punting. A great return man keeps those punts below average, right? So, but a great return man against a great punter, it's going to be league average, right? Okay. Again, same thing. An A return man can always attempt to return a punt for a touchdown. Field goal is very simple. This is from the spot, this is from the line of scrimmage, not from the spot. So you can play older football where you were kicking, adding 7 yards, or you can play adding 17 yards. But my place kicker here is a C. Let's say I'm on the 19-yard line. That would be a 36-yard attempt, right? That would be a 1 to 5. As long as I don't roll a 6, it's good. And up 6, he misses. So he would shank this 36-yard field goal, clipping it to the right of the goalpost, and he would fail to make it. G means it's automatic, so an A from 1 to 9 yard line is good, an A from 10 to 19 is good. So an A place kicker is a huge advantage in parallax football. An F place kicker is a nightmare. And again, if you were trying to rate historical teams, this will give you a clue, right? So, for instance, well, how can I rate historical? Well, you just look at the average kickoff for kick return for your team in history, and if they average, around that spot, you can guesstimate. Oh, that return man must have been a B return man, right? Place kicker, same thing. If you can average the kick return average against your team, you get an idea what their place kickers. Now, for place kickers, I would use this for field goal percentage because I didn't rate place kickers. The game's not meant to rate place kickers for their kickoff ability, but you could have two scores. You could have a place kicker who's an AD, so he kicks off with an A, but he's a crappy field goal kicker, right? So you could actually have two different place kickers or whatever. Entirely up to you. Same thing with a punt, right? If the league average in 1972 was 38 yards per punt, and you know that the team you're building has a return man of 6, then you can say, okay, he would be in this universe, he would be closer to an B or an A return man, because let's say in 72, punt averages were lower, right, than here. This is assuming a broad range of football. All of these assume kind of a broad range of football. This is assuming closer to a number that would be touchbacks of modern football and college football, the touchbacks. So you can play college ball with this too. Field goal attempts solely based on just quality of kicking in general. So you could still rate old football kickers would be worse. And then, of course, most modern kickers are going to be up here, right? Now, plays. This is where you match up. So it's my passing ability versus their linebackers. Let's say I have a passing rate of B and their linebackers are a B. We're going to be passing in today's game for a C, right? Let's say their passers are a D and my linebackers are a B. They're going to be passing on the D chart, right? Let's say my running game is a C, and let's say their run stuff is an F. We'd be running today on the B chart. That kind of thing. Okay. So before game, you're going to want to get all your matchups. You're going to want to write down what your team's kick return is. You're going to want to write down what their net punt is. And you're going to want to write down what their passing play, their completion, and their running ability is for the game. And then you don't need to check this chart, obviously, every time you call a play, right? And then play calls are optional. You do not have to use this D6. You could just call plays, or you can use whatever you want to use. You could use fast action cards. You can use whatever you want to call your offensive plays. And, of course, defense is totally optional. You don't even have to use this chart in defensive rules at all. You could just call plays and roll those tables. Because for those who haven't noticed, defense is pretty much hard baked in here. You can see how defensive the game is if you use the defense, because we got a stalemate of 0-0 here. I design all of my games so you don't have to mess around with play calling or defense. So I purposely design my games that they tend to weigh in to the less offensive side. They tend to lean toward defense having some effect on play. Even bad defense, I would want, that's assuming that even bad defenses do, of course, attempt to resist offenses. So you can see 2 C teams basically being reduced to a dogfight here, right? I wouldn't say not to use it. I do believe it adds a lot more drama to the game and a lot more realism, right? You catch them in the wrong defense? Are they playing balance, just trying to take away something? That kind of thing. It just describes how it affects play. Run defense versus runs, pass defense versus runs, run defense versus passes. This describes just how the defenses affect the plays. And then again, there are passing. First, you have to complete the pass, which could be an interception, a sack, incompletion, or complete. Once it's complete, you use your completion grade to determine your catch, how many yards your receiver has earned, right? They can drop passes. They can also break away on long routes. And you'll find This is closer to modern football, lower yards per pass, and lower yards per completion. So this just allows you to play any era of football, but really leaning toward more modern football. I think people are generally want to play last year's teams or this year's upcoming teams, or whatever. All right, completion again. So these would be poor yards after catch, poor yards per completion, and F would be just horrific. They can fumble the ball, drop it. However, they still got pretty good if you roll it high here, right? And then running plays, again, this is just about the back hitting the hole at the point of attack, your offensive linemen, your defensive run stuffers, and what they get in yardage. And you can see, again, it leans toward lean averages. So you want to get them in the wrong defense to pump up that average, right? Okay. So this is not going to be a high score. Well, I won't say high scoring. Again, it allows you to play a traditional timing-based football game. So when you see these numbers, you're like, well, those seem low. Well, we're talking about playing if you're going to play a 128 play game, or you're going to play a 130 play college game or something, these numbers hopefully will work out in the long run for you. Again, I make football simulators. I do not make replay games. And I've said this many, many times. I simulate the sport of football, but it simulates whatever that type of era or football is. I do not attempt to make the NFL 2026. I'm not interested in designing replay games for that exact thing. So I've said it before, which is why I allow you to create teams, have fictional leagues and players and universes. I don't anticipate there would be a need to always turn my games into real life. You've got that. You've got Stratomatic. You've got Quick Decks. You've got AppAw. You've got Play Action Football. You got plenty of football simulators out there that call themselves replay games. So, okay. And then, of course, we have a very simple chart for interceptions. This is who picks it off, linebackers or coverage men. If the linebacker picks it off for you and they're an A-grade linebacking unit, if I roll a 1, they return it backward 35 yards. Good chance to get an interception return for a touchdown here. If I roll a 6, they would pick it off 20 yards downfield, and they'd be down there. So this is just a shift in line of scrimmage. So depending on who gets the interception, linebackers or coverage men, you would use that chart and make a simple D6 roll to see where the ball's placed after the interception. This is a net interception return net of -15 backward against the offense, or +24 forward against the offense, or for the offense. And then I just define, again, the legend. A drop means a receiver dropped the pass. Fumble means there's a fumble at the line of scrimmage. It's lost. Long is very simple. You just pick up the dice again, roll them over, and you read again the D66, 41-yard run, 41-yard pass. So again, here's the other thing I wanted to note. Because these look low, you got to remember, you hit that long, that's an automatic 11 to 66, right? So let's say, you hit that twice in a game. There's a run for 13. Let's say I hit it again in the game for 36. That's 49 yards rushing on 2 plays out of, let's say, a 30 runs in the game. And most of the runs are going to be about a 3-yard to 4-yard average, right, for an A team. So, again, when you start hitting longs, that's going to push up the scoring. It's going to push up the realism of yardage. So again, I say there's a reason these seem low, and that's on purpose, because when you hit that 66, it's going to be anywhere from 11 to 66 yards, right? You cannot go 100 yards in this game. All right. Then of course I provide a fictional 6-team North American Football League, Vancouver, etc. I have a schedule. So you look and say Vancouver plays Calgary in weeks 1 and 7. It doesn't matter home and away. You can decide who's home and away. Just make sure you flip them. So they share in their own division. They're going to play each other home and away. And then next year, you can follow this again and just flip the schedules of home and away and flip, So this just allows you to have infinite schedules right here for a 16 league. Okay. Then we have the teams. So 31 notes what their value of their team was when I rolled them up. I picked their coaches, their coach based on their ratings. So this team I placed an A in passing and a B in receiving, and so I made them a pass team. So you can see how that works, and you can also see out of these 31 points, their offense is 12, their defense is 10, and their special teams comes out at 9. So that's 31 points. And you can roll the third die every time you run or whatever. So let's say I run the ball. 44 is a 4-yard carry, and I'd roll that third D6. It says 4. Smith carries the ball for 4 yards. So all you got to do is roll a third D6, and that'll allow you to know who's running and who's receiving passes. If there's a sack on the other team, who got the sack. So I didn't do that in this little tutorial because I didn't want to be flipping back and forth in the pages here. And then there's Calgary, there's Toronto, there's San Diego, and then there's the hand-picked bootleggers. So the 227s, these were point buy. I chose not to roll. I gave them the 27, which is an option in the book. You don't have to roll. You can choose the average. And I rated them. And the ones that have odd numbers were rolled. And the highest rolled team in the game was Ohio Originals. I rolled 32 points. Made them a pass-first team with A and B. They have a running game that's not great. They have a poor run-stopping team. They have a brilliant coverage defense. And their offense and their special teams is pretty solid. So they were 32 when I rolled them up. And then they're done. So the Ohio Originals ended up being the best. Now, off-season is very simple. If a team is a losing team, they get to re-roll all 8 dice or rearrange their grades of 27 points. A team that finishes 500 has no choice. They must retain their current grades, or they're allowed to start over but only use 27 points. And a winning team must re-roll with 7 dice. So a winning team, this is going to represent a winning team losing quality coaches, quality players. They have to re-roll with 7 dice. So they automatically will be a disadvantage after after being a winner or winning a championship. So this kind of shows they're going to pick up free agents. They're going to try to go out and get better coaches, and they're going to acquire high draft picks. This indicates it's a team on the bubble of either being really good, of being a winner or a loser, and they're not going to make a lot of changes. And if you do choose to make changes, you have to start with 27 and regrade. Winning, you're going to be forced to roll 7 D6 and then reassign grade. So winning teams could potentially suffer big swings. They could, potentially. Remember, you get to regrade them. So if you have an A passing team and I roll them over and they lose some points, well, you could still maintain that A. And though it just might be Fs in other places, which would represent they maintained their quarterback, but they lost, let's say, a return man or something. Okay. And then rosters, the players are optional, and I use my cap. Those who know me and follow my gaming, I use career athlete position for a cap. This allows you to bring rookies in. They automatically become peak in year 2. Peak players can advance in age to veterans on a roll of 1 or 2. Veterans will retire on a roll of 1. And this just allows you to age players through naturally, bringing in new players, right? And then there's the all rights reserved. So there you are, folks. This is a full walkthrough tutorial. We played a really fun second quarter here. Unfortunately, it still adds up to 0-0. Again, if I played full regulation football, we are missing 14 plays in the first quarter, and we're missing 8 plays in the second quarter. That is 22 plays of offense that is missing between these two teams. I would assure you that if you played through full, we probably would have some kind of score here. But again, the game is designed. These two teams are very closely matched. If your team is a C, they are indeed average. If they're D, they're below average. So A's are really rare. F's are super rare. A's are rare. You're going to say most teams are going to be matched up B, C, or D. So it's tight football. I mean, this is professional football. It's not meant to be high school or college where there's big swings in talent. This is meant to be pro ball where things are pretty tight. It comes down to execution and play calling generally, right? So, but either way, we're missing 22 plays from scrimmage doing possessions, right? So it speeds up play, but we won't have the numbers for statistical performance. Well, we will if you want to base it on possessions, but if you want to, try to get the full regulation football, you're going to want to add those plays in. And again, still, that doesn't mean we might still be at a 0-0 game. These two teams are playing well. And there you have it. And you can look back and see where teams had an advantage. So run versus pass, that was a 5-yard gain. Pass, balance, and complete. Pass, pass, and complete. Pass balance, 4 yards. Pass balance, nowhere. Pass balance, run balance, nowhere. Run balance, 8. Run balance, -1. Pass incomplete. So you can see when the defense was right, what kind of quality we're getting. When they're wrong, what kind of plays we're getting. So all of this, of course, can be homebrewed and tweaked to suit your own style of football, too, if you want to. And I'll say this, if you want higher scoring games, just drop out the defensive effect. Just dump it. Just roll the tables. Roll to see what the play call is, and then roll to see the result. And just dump defensive effect upon play. Because you're already seeing defense. And for those who go, man, that's complete nonsense. No, because you're already matching up the defense. A great defensive team, run stopper, is going to reduce an offense's run. A great linebacking crew will reduce a quarterback's passing windows. And a great coverage team will reduce receivers' ability to get yardage receiving. So defense is already baked in just on the matchup chart, if that makes sense. So in a way, this makes defense doubly powerful, right? So I would use this more in head-to-head games when you want to play with your friend, so a friend can mitigate what you're doing. But I would make defense for sure optional because you already have defense baked in to the teams with the grades. All right, so hopefully that is a good tutorial. It walks everybody through Parallax football. There was another piece of this that I removed because I thought it made for one more die roll that we probably might, maybe in a future version 2, I might add it back in. And that would explain again the parallax football concept a little better. So we see the parallax football, we see the parallax concept in the passing game. You have to first, when you drop back to pass, you have to first find the windows to get the ball off, whether there's a chance, an interception, a sack, whatever. Then we're going to roll to see what receivers do with the ball when they have it in their hands, right? So there's 2 steps. The running game used to have 2 steps. You would have to run versus run stuff. And there was, on the original version of this, I had pluses on the run chart. So for instance, there might be a running play. This might be a 0+. There might be a 2+. There might be a 3+. What that means is the running back at the point of attack has a chance to wiggle free and get more yards, and then you would automatically roll the second layer. So the first layer is against the front 4, the front 5 defensive players. If you hit a plus, that means your back has found space, even on a 0 run, and they would roll a second time using the linebackers as the weight. That becomes the parallax view. So when I talk about what parallax means, parallax is the perception that things closer to you are moving faster than things further away. And again, the best example of this, and people know this, is when you're in a car, you look out the window, the guardrails are moving really fast, the trees are moving slower, and the mountains are barely moving at all. Well, the concept here is the front line is moving very quickly, the linebackers are moving a little slower, and the secondary appears to be moving much slower. So we kind of make steps down the field when we're playing. Drop back to pass, the front 4 look really fast. Linebackers are moving a little slower, but they're blocking passing lanes. They're blitzing the quarterback, etc. And then the third layer would be, the ball's off, it's caught, and now it's between the receivers and the coverage to get yardage. Well, running used to have a potential third step, or second step, which would be a plus, meaning the back, even though he was hitting the hole, he's found wiggle room. Now he has to get past the linebackers. So you could have a second roll where you look at my running ability on this chart. You would match up, where's it at here? You would match up my run. Damn it. Here it is. Let's say my run is B versus their run stuff, which is B. So we run it as C, but my B versus their linebackers at D, I would get a second roll on the B chart for a second tier, and you'd keep adding those up. So let's say I ran for 1+, and then I rolled on the B chart, and we get 4, so it'd be 4 + 1, 5-yard run, right? And basically, I would have accounted for the line of scrimmage, and I would have accounted for the linebackers at the second level, and that would end the run. There would be no check you wouldn't go into the third space unless you roll the long, which means you've clearly broken away and you're in the open field running. Okay, so that used to be in here in the run tables. There was just some run numbers on every chart that had a plus, which meant the parallax view, you would then face up the linebackers in an additional roll, right? So one of the reasons I removed it was what happens if you roll. Let's say I rolled on the C chart and I had rolled 1+, and against their linebackers, I guess that's 1 yard. Oh, wait, I get to roll B. And then I roll the second time and I roll the tackle for loss. Oh, that kind of messes things up. So I roll for 1, roll 1d6, right? So that means the back would have bounced and tried to reverse his field and got hammered for a loss. But it makes a very dynamic vision of a back hitting the hole and actually maybe spreading it out against the linebackers. And that could end in a bad way for him, or it could get him a big run. I took the step out because I thought it's just one more roll. But it is exciting. And ironically, it does fit the whole idea of what parallax football, when you translate, what is the idea of parallax view in relationship to a Dyson chart football game? Well, that's it. I just explained it. So it's going to seem weird. Like, why is it called parallax football? Yet the running game doesn't appear to have that, right? So it's abstract. It's an abstract concept, and it is what it is. Thank you for watching, everybody out there. Have a fantastic weekend. Good day.